I once asked Spielberg to name his favorite private moment in Jaws, and he said it was the scene you're about to see, in which Roy Scheider, the police chief, swears at having to dish out some scraps for the shark. We laugh at that, and then we see something that stops our laughter.
Stop playing with yourself, Hooper. Slow ahead, if you please. You heard him. Slow ahead. Slow ahead. I can go slow ahead. Come on down and chum some of this. You're going to need a bigger boat.
Great line. That was the first time we see the Jaws in Jaws, and it's a full hour into the movie, and that's one of the secrets of Spielberg, that he was wise enough not to show us his monster right away, as was done with the subsequent Jaws pictures that he did not direct. And what he liked about that scene was, you hear we bleeped out what Roy Scheider says, but he said he would sit in the back of an audience, and he would wait for that moment because the audience would laugh when they heard the obscenity and then scream. And so he turned a laugh, he said he enjoyed turning a laugh into a scream. And when you know that about him, then you can tell that Spielberg obviously enjoys manipulating his audience. I like the idea of him sitting back there waiting for that moment, guiding and directing the audience. And it's true, when you are in a Spielberg film, there is a sense that someone else is in control of your mind and your eyes. He is not just content to throw random pictures at us. He wants to run us and run us ragged, and we certainly experienced that in Jaws, the film that made him a star director.
There's no doubt in my mind that Steven Spielberg makes just about the best pictures of anybody for seeing with an audience. I remember seeing Jaws in 1975 with about 1,200 people in Chicago. The audience would levitate simultaneously, 1,200 people, and then they would come down laughing with relief in a way because there was fear in the reason that they were scared and so forth. This is interesting, the way that he does what Hitchcock used to say that he liked to do, play the audience like a piano.
And I'll tell you another thing that he's doing. You're right about suburbia. You have it in Duel, and you also certainly have it in Jaws with this exclusive little island. Here's Roy Scheider away from the big city cop, and now he's on the island, and these incredible things happen. And I think what Spielberg also knows, because he grew up in suburbia, is that he imagines he's the filmmaker now for the shopping center theater. Think about it. You have all these suburban people. It's not downtown with the people dressing up going to movies anymore. It's all these people driving into the parking lot, going to the suburban theater. They're boring. They're all dressed with the same little emblems on their clothes. They go in, and wow, they see people just like them, and then boom, something exciting happens. You got all these people hoping that something will happen to them that's exciting in their suburbs, and he delivers it. Well, Jaws 2, the third top moneymaker of 1978, for me was just a cheap imitation of the original Jaws. Still, it turned out to be incredibly the most successful sequel of all time. It had the same story as the original, the same island, the same stupid mayor, the same police chief, the same script. I guess people love to see that shark eat other people, and Jaws 2 definitely had more attack scenes than the original. Maybe that's why it was such a big hit.
Over there! Shark out here! Hold on! Get me out of the water! There! Watch out!
Lots of teeth, lots of screams. I thought it was a sloppy film, but apparently it worked for one simple reason. The Jaws shark has become a classic movie villain that ranks with Frankenstein's monster and Dracula. Apparently, people will always pay to see a great white shark picture now, especially if it's released in the summertime when people are thinking about going back and doing some swimming.
I agree with you, Gene. It was pure trash, as a matter of fact. Now, the original picture had a lot of suspense. In this one, the shark comes on, starts eating teenagers, and that's it. Now, sometimes I don't like teenagers so much myself, but that's going too far.
And Roger begins with one of his least favorites, Jaws 3D.
Well, our first thinker was about a man-eating shark, and this one eats up audiences and spits them out. Jaws 3D was the third movie to star a great white shark and the second one to make the shark boring. In Steven Spielberg's very first Jaws, a good movie made 10 years ago, the shark seemed real, and so did its victims. We cared about them. We were worried about what was going to happen to them. But look at this ridiculous scene in which a phony shark chases some water skiers who are amazingly slow to catch on. Gee, that's amazing. That shark tail looks amazingly like an artificial shark tail that's being pulled through the water at a constant rate of speed that's very unrealistic. And I think that's exactly what it was, too. Jaws 3D was, of course, in 3D. And so were a lot of movies this year. In fact, 1983 saw a rebirth of the 3D fever, which was big in the 1950s, and then mercifully disappeared for 20 years before resurfacing in a series of murky, unfocused, boring, technically hapless movies that had the audience desperately struggling to see what was on the screen. I paid $5. What is it that you're trying to show me? The only consolation was, with movies like Jaws 3D, if you couldn't see the screen, at least you weren't missing anything.
That's absolutely true. You know, you do put on those glasses, and you do feel like a kid again, and you really do have fabulous expectations when it is a sequel, when it is 3D. We got a couple of them on the show, and boy, this one really let me down. The big moment when the shark is going to crash through this little seaquarium, you know, the 3D didn't work well. It never left, it never came off the screen. It just hit that thing and then they cut to another scene. Too bad.
The great white shark attacks again in Jaws the Revenge, the fourth movie, just when you thought it was safe to go back in the theater. And I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times. That's one of 4 movies we'll review this week, and the question I always have is, when you see the shark at the top of the water, you only see its fin coming out, and yet when you get the shark's point of view, like we just saw,
looking at the people,
it's like its eyes are above the water, too. That's a logical error among many logical errors.
You've got that right. We saw the same movie. I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune. All the major players are gone from Jaws the Revenge, except Roy Scheider's wife, and her name is now just a trivia question. Ellen Brody, played by Lorraine Gary, wife of the boss of MCA Universal Pictures, which happens to make the Jaws movies. 3D failed to save the series the last time out. This time an idiotic script sinks the whole show. The premise, Ellen Brody is a widow. Roy Scheider's character has died, meaning Scheider has enough sense to know when to stop bilking the public. And his wife in the film is convinced that a great white shark has a grudge against her family. Now you can just hear those sharks talking. I'm going to get me a Brody if it's the last thing I do. I guess that's what they say.
Very realistic. Shark talk.
I know. That would have been more interesting than the movie. Anyway, here's an example of Ellen Brody's spear. The scene is very early in the picture, so veteran moviegoers should be able to figure it out. Like they say on Saturday Night Live, I hate when that happens. A dream sequence. People were groaning in the theater when that happened. I mean, I want to go up and punch a hole in the screen.
They were groaning when that happened. How about the next dream sequence? Another It's Only a Dream.
I can't stand the dream sequences. Why do they do that in the movie? If there's anything that annoys an audience, it's the dream sequence. I hate that stunt. It's old, it's cheap, it's a lousy gimmick, and I wish they would stop doing it. And then that describes the whole movie. You want to probably see what the shark looks like. They show more of it this time, and by showing more of it, actually, at the end, it sort of looks fake. As for the final confrontation, Michael Caine plays a pilot who joins Ellen Brody and one of her sons, the other's dead, and one of his friends in trying to drive the shark crazy by first making it swallow an electronic beeper box, death by noise.
Ellen, try to start the engine. Sound him. Let's get out of here.
No, it's too late, Hoagie. He's going to come for us. Give me a hard point. Right. Keep us steady. It's going to come back. He's down.
This movie is so badly made that the death of the shark isn't even set up well. There's a key shot missing so that we don't even get the whole picture. We walk out of the theater very frustrated. And that last scene is preceded by one of the most glaring errors in recent movie history. Michael Caine has been in the water, has swum to safety onto the boat, but in the very next scene, his shirt is as dry as if it had just been freshly laundered. Let's hope this is the end of the Jaws series. The first film was thrilling and well acted. The rest have been trash.
It's not even the next shot. Michael Caine actually comes over the rail out of the water,
Right.
and he's totally dry. I was sitting in the theater, and I said, his shirt is dry. You know, the preview audience appreciated that. You know, I always hate it when people talk during the movies, but I don't know. That seemed to go over pretty well.
Yeah.
You know, I got a question for you. I may be very badly confused here. In this, you know, usually am. In this movie, this shark wants revenge against the Brody family.
You got it.
Yes, okay. Now, in the first movie, what happened to the shark in the first movie?
Dead.
Blown to pieces, right?
Yeah.
What happened to the shark in the second movie?
I know, dead.
Yeah, right. What happened to the shark in the
They
third
all
movie?
die.
They all die. So in that case,
Their family.
what shark is this?
A friend of the other shark.
Is this like a cousin, a nephew?
You got it.
A next door neighbor?
And you know what's so great?
What?
You see, by having this gimmick, that means that even though this one dies, she still is going to stay living in that stupid town instead of moving into the Middle West where she should be, away from sharks.
So in any event, all sharks have a revenge against the
You
Brody
got it.
family. Right, okay, I got that. Okay, next movie.
Live in Iowa is the answer.
Okay, right. Our next movie...